Good morning, Facebook and the Welcome Waggin page. This is Dr. Jenny Waltz here, and we are starting something really exciting with the Welcome Waggin. One of the things I've been wanting to do for a long time is just get better at doing newsletters to all of our clients and friends on just stuff that's happening with the Welcome Waggin. And, one of the things I think so often veterinary professionals take for granted is how much education and training is just needed and asked and want to by pet parents, that I thought instead of doing a newsletter, why don't we do a live coffee talk? So welcome to Morning Coffees with the Welcome Waggin. This is the first episode in a fun series where I hope to be sharing not just stuff going on with me, but also stuff that's going on with our team and our staff and our community and our pets and our clients and all of that fun stuff. I want this to be a weekly time we all come together over some coffee. We all hear it. We all love coffee here. As well as a time to just celebrate our pets, especially within the community. One of the things about the business, which we're going to talk about today, is that we serve almost the entire western suburbs. We have a very wide radius. And I find it such an honor to not just be part of our current community Plainfield, in which our office headquarters is at, but also all the communities within the Chicagoland area in these western suburbs. So we get to drive around and see so many fun things every day that I want to bring some of those celebrations and milestones to you guys. I want to just share some stuff that's going on with our patients and some of the diseases we're treating, just some of the things that we're trying to prevent and how we could help slow that aging process down. I also want us to be able to come together and celebrate the memory of a lost loved one. Anticipatory grief with our pets is something that is super important and happens probably many years before our pet is finally time to pass. And watching our loved ones pass is also something that's very important. One of the things here we say is normalize pet loss grief, because we feel that there are times where people feel like they can't grieve fully because it is just a pet in other people's eyes. And we want to break that paradigm and know that our pets are our family members. So for this first edition, I wanted to really just talk about what is in-home veterinary care and who we are at the Welcome Waggin. I wanted to come on a little earlier, and I'm coming on my phone, so I'm not going to be able to see any comments per se. I'm still learning how to use Facebook on the desktop, and I could not figure out how to go live this morning. So I do eventually want to have a segment where we can ask questions live and just talk about various topics or anything that's troubling with you and your pet. But for today's episode, I really wanted to just focus on what is in-home veterinary care, what makes us different than brick and mortar practices, and how do you know you're a good fit for in-home veterinary care. So first, a little history about the Welcome Waggin. I am the second business owner. The first business owner, Dr. Lisa McIntyre, started this business in 2007. And most veterinarians who are interested in starting a house call business, typically they just run it out of their house. So Dr. Lisa, she ran the business out of her house for over 10 years. And many of you know Sarah, one of our technicians, has been with Lisa since the very beginning, and watched her little kids grow up. And so that's how most mobile vets do it. Most mobile vets sometimes are just by themselves. Maybe they'll have one technician with them. And it's more of like an intimate feeling where a lot of the mobile vets that I know of, they're not taking any more clients right now because they are fully established. So I started doing relief work for Dr. Lisa back in August of 2019 is when I met her. It was really November of 2019 when I started doing relief work. And I was always very hesitant about mobile veterinary practice. I wasn't sure what you could do in the house. I wasn't sure how the animals would react. I had done a in-home euthanasia once before, and I was just very nervous about doing it not in a clinical setting. But soon enough, really like within the first day of doing relief work for her, I fell in love with mobile veterinary care. It's such a different experience when you are in your patient's house and you see what their environment is like. You see how they interact with the family. You see where their favorite place to sleep is and all of those different things. And so I became very passionate very quickly about just the great services that we provide. So around that time, this was January and February of 2020, completely blinded to what was coming with the rest of the world. Dr. Lisa and I began the discussion of me transitioning to the new owner. So on April 1st, 2020, right when the world was shutting down, I was just getting started on my entrepreneurial journey as the new owner of the Welcome Waggin. Being a business owner had always been a dream of mine. I graduated in vet school at Purdue, go Boilers, in 2011 and had been practicing veterinary medicine throughout the Chicago area. I had left practice for a while to do recruiting for VCA hospitals. That's another story for another day. But been all over with just various hospitals. So I've hired over 200 doctors. I've been in over 100 hospitals, and I've seen the cultures that really work. So culture is very important to me. So I knew when I took this practice on that we were going to start in my house because that made the most sense with what was going on in the world. But then I knew eventually that that this in-home veterinary care, this ability that we're able to help with our patients was something that was just needed, and that we really needed to expand and start getting the word out about how awesome in-home veterinary care is. So if you're drinking any coffee, take a sip and we'll keep diving into the story of the Welcome Waggin. Yes. So we, about a year ago, moved into our Plainfield location. So we really quickly outgrew my house. And again, the biggest thing that we see with clients, or I hear often, is I wish I would have known about you guys sooner. So another reason why of starting this coffee series is I want people to know about us sooner. Let's just talk about some of the things that could happen in the home. So we are currently not a full service veterinary practice. I'm in a group of about 10 other business owners throughout the country who do in-home veterinary care. And it is definitely a growing service because we are realizing how less stress our pets get when they're in their home. How much better care from a general practitioner standpoint we could give when pets are in their home. And honestly, the flexibility and freedom it gives for an industry that's really burning out. So, in-home veterinary care really is like one of the oldest forms of medicine, around. And, we're doing it with a modern twist. Practicing high quality medicine is something that's really important to us. Excellence is something that's really important to us. And obviously there's growing pains as we scale our business and we train people. When I purchased this practice over 2.5 years ago, it was literally 2 employees, Sarah and Christy. We soon hired Heather on. And since then we've expanded to now we're a team of 11. We have 2 doctors, 3 including me. We're a 2 full-time equivalent doctor practice. So Dr. Rump goes out 4 days a week, Dr. Fagan goes out 3 days a week, and I go out on Tuesdays. So perfect time for our Coffee Talk series as I'll be heading out to see our pets soon. We could do almost anything in the house except x-rays and surgery. Like I said, there are some mobile practices who will buy like almost an RV type truck, and they will be able to do full service veterinary care on the road. We really wanted to focus on really great general practice medicine. Dr. Rump really loves internal medicine, and so we wanted to focus on cases that we could do really, really well working up in the house. I love dermatology. Dr. Fagan loves general practice and the puppies and everything like that. And so we all bring like a little bit of a unique personality to the practice. So some of the things or some of the kind of work that works really well from a general practice setting in the home is obviously your annual exams and your regular checkups. We can do vaccines in the house. We could do blood draws, checking for heartworm disease, checking stool samples for intestinal parasites. We do just really, the dogs are just, and cats are just so much more comfortable in the house during those younger years when we get to see them all crazy and everything like that. I think another one of our like specialties within in-home veterinary care really is our geriatric and our senior patients. Many of the dogs that we see, they just can't get in the car anymore. So if you know anyone who has an older dog who is struggling, definitely tell them about our services, because that's one of the blessings that I feel like why we need to expand and grow the Welcome Waggin is I am seeing just so many patients not getting good access to veterinary care, not because you guys as a pet parents may not want it, but because you physically can't get your dog to the vet anymore. Let's just face it, to all the cat owners, cats hate changing their environment. They hate going in that cat carrier, and there are ways that we get them in the cat carrier, but when we're able to come to them, they may be nervous for a couple minutes and then they're like rubbing up on our legs. So that's just one of those benefits. We do a lot of blood work. Laboratory is a big thing that we do at the Welcome Waggin, and we really believe that checking our values early, screening for early kidney disease, checking our liver values, checking our T4. Cats are notorious for getting hyperthyroidism, which is an overactive of the thyroid gland. Dogs are notorious for getting hypothyroidism, which is slow metabolism. Those are all things that we could do at the house. Like I said, Dr. Rump has a special interest in internal medicine, so we do have an ultrasound. So we have some diagnostic imaging capabilities. She does abdominal ultrasounds on workups when we're worried about GI disease, liver disease. We are doing a cancer screen, all those different types of things that she could do at the house. And then because mobility cases are such a huge component of what we see, we also have a class 4 therapeutic laser for some integrative medicine that our technicians are performing when we doctors feel that it's necessary. So there's so many things that we could do as a house call service. And so, like I said, this business has been around since 2007. And Dr. Lisa has been so instrumental in just helping nurture and grow this community, really this whole western suburbs of the importance of house calls. So as we kind of look forward, we definitely travel super far. So a year ago, Dr. Lisa lived in Naperville, I lived in Oswego, so Plainfield was a perfect location for us to move to, and we celebrated our 1-year anniversary in our downtown location. We love it here. We love being a part of the community. We love just being a part of all the events and almost all the action, if you will. But we travel, we go all the way out to Homer Glen and Joliet region. We go all the way up to Riverside. We have a couple clients in Oak Park. Then we go out to Schaumburg and Glen Ellen. We're not taking any new clients right now in the Schaumburg area just because the drive time is so far. And then we have some clients all the way to St. Charles, another area right now that we're not accepting new patients at. But then we go down to Sugar Grove and Yorkville. So we make a big circle every day. And so it's a little more labor intensive for our CSR team, our receptionist team, because they're working on our maps all the time. Our goal is to be as transparent with you guys as possible. So we know that you are super busy professionals, working mothers, people who have a life as well, and that staying home and waiting for all day, how most house calls, or anytime you call anybody out to the house, they give you an all-day window. So we try to do narrowed windows of no more than 2 to 4 hour windows, and we always text you when we're on our way. So that transparency of care is super important. We do almost everything in front of you as the owner. So again, one of the highlights of house call service is so often in a brick and mortar, your pet will be taken to the back for their blood draws, anything that may happen. We do it all in front of you. And so very occasionally do I tell an owner, you're very nervous that energy is being picked up on your pet. You may do better away from the owner. But most of the pets just prefer to be with their loved one, their pet parent. And so it's kind of it's a fun day. Let's see, it's a little foggy this morning. But we've got a super busy day. Let me I'm gonna turn my computer on and share with you all where we're at today. So we're in Plainfield in the morning, then we go out to Downers Grove, Lombard, Bloomingdale, back to Naperville, and back to Plainfield. So we try to make a big circle every day with our appointments. So that's just a little bit about the Welcome Waggin, a little history of me as a new business owner, 2.5 years in. We've definitely grown a lot, and we are trying to make changes for the better, changes to expand. Again, I kind of had mentioned that there's a lot of burnout in this profession. And so this is a very nice alternative for our team members who are suffering out from brick and mortar. You guys, I used to work at VCR Breeding View. This was like in 2016 to 2018. And the fact that during the pandemic, our emergency hospitals are at capacity and having to, at times, no longer accept emergency patients is just crazy to me. In May, I went to a CE, again, because I used to do recruiting, and I was just hearing the state of our profession. And I know so many other professions are just struggling, and really just the job industry is just struggling in general, trying to find employees and workers. But there is an estimated shortage of veterinarians to about like 40,000 veterinarians in the next 10 years. So it's a crazy time with just our industry is struggling to keep up with the demands of pet ownership. During the pandemic, it was estimated, I think it was like 1.5 million, and quote, I could be wrong with this quote, 1.5 million pets entered the household, but only 5,000 vets graduated vet school. So we're at a unique time, and why I think house calls are even more important, because when we're able to come in and we're not bombarded with 15-minute, 20-minute appointments, we can sit there on the floor, sit there on the couch with your pet. We're able to pick up those little nuisances that are potentially early diseases that we could treat faster when we're that close and spending that much time with our pets. And so it is my mission to continue to grow the Welcome Waggin. I don't think any pet should be left behind because they can't get to the vet anymore, or they're too hard to capture as our poor cats are. I do think that there is a need for in-home veterinary care, and I think anybody deserves that access to that veterinary care. So I hope within the next couple of years we have a couple hubs, and we're out in Schaumburg and we're up in Chicago, and we're really just taking over the Chicago area with amazing in-home veterinary care service. So what this weekly episode is going to be about is just a time to celebrate community, celebrate pets and the human-animal bond, cry, laugh, enjoy together, all of those different types of things. So I plan to be coming on live every Tuesday, mainly in the mornings before I go out on call. I want to bring my team on. I may bring some people of the community on. I will get a much better setup than my iPhone camera, and I'll figure the desktop version out. And so I want to just be there for you guys, asking and learning from you what is important for the health of your pet. What do you want to learn on how to keep your pet healthy and live longer, and all of those things. So to conclude the first episode, I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. I hope you enjoy this beautiful fall weather that we're having, and I hope to talk with you guys soon. If you missed the replay, I am going to be starting a YouTube channel. So I will, and if you are one of our current clients and are on our email list, we'll be sending this out. So I do plan to have these episodes posted on YouTube, posted on our website. I'll also, since we've kind of been talking about, you know, what house calls are, where we serve and all of that, I will be doing a day in the life today on the Instagram stories, which should feed over to Facebook stories. So if you're not on Instagram, definitely go follow us on Instagram. It's at the Welcome Waggin, and just participate and say hi and tell stories and share with us with your pets, so we could share with the community how awesome your pets are. You guys have a great day. Bye.